So, Steve Moore, boss of the Motor Rapido Oxford Products Ducati racing team. How are we?
Very well. Locked down like everybody else. Well, not that lockdown really. Going to work and everything now, but can't go to pubs, so that's a bad thing. Can't go racing.
Is that a good thing for you or a bad thing, not going to pubs?
No, I quite like the pubs. I'm a bit of a people person, aren't I? So
Absolutely. Same as me.
yeah. So everything seems to be going all right. I think there's some light at the end of the tunnel now, and that's always a good thing. There's a bit of a plan emerging to do a bit of racing. So,
is it?
Rumours, expect an announcement soon, I think.
Oh, good. How's the Morris Gibb look going?
It's cool, isn't it? It's pretty good. I think I might keep it. It backfired a little bit because
staying alive. Staying alive.
I am staying alive. Yeah. It backfired a bit because I wasn't going to get the haircut for pre-season testing in Spain. So everyone sort of mocked me a bit for that, got back and then got locked down. So it's, but I've saved, probably about 40 or 50 pounds in haircuts. So everyone's got to make that.
You get your haircut? Harrods?
Yeah.
The next certificate.
Yeah. But yes, it's, everything's a bit strange at the minute, isn't it? So everyone's sort of waiting to go. It's a bit of a pain for us, really, because it was looking all right. We didn't really want any more time. We were ready to go. Wanted to go and do a bit of racing and maybe win some races. So last thing we wanted was everyone having a bit more time to catch up.
Well, pre-season testing, there wasn't as much of it as anybody would have liked.
No.
How do you what do you think? Do you think you'll be able to do in terms of getting on track before you've got to get on track properly? Do you think there'll be any opportunity or not?
Yeah, I think Tommy's got a couple of track days booked on his practice bike to get him warmed up again.
Right.
Which would be good because he spent all winter riding that thing all around Spain, just sort of perfecting, or just staying bike fit and keeping his senses sharp. And now he's had 2 or 3 months of not doing anything. So he's going to do a bit of track day blasting around. I see some of the other riders have been out. Scott was out on his road bike the other week, I think this week.
Yeah.
But I think there'll be a plan. I think BSB will put an official test on. It'll probably be a lockdown behind closed doors, sort of thing. But we do need a couple of days just to get warmed up and ready to go. And with all this extra time, we've been coming up with lots of ideas. So I've been talking to Ash, my data guy, and Kat, the chassis engineer, and we've got some stuff that instead of get on with racing, we're now thinking about things that we want to do. Basically, reviewing all of last year, looking through every session, every note, and saying what were the problems, how can we fix them, and then come up with a whole load of things to try. So now we're going to be busy. Might get lost in the numbers a bit, but we're going to at least we've got some settings we can just go back to if all our grand ideas turn out to be
nonsense. So how did this whole Motor Rapido British Superbike team come about? Because you're a motorcycle dealer from Hampshire, and then suddenly you turned up in Superstock with Scott Smart.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to come racing?
I've always liked racing. I did a bit of club racing myself, and I wasn't very good at it. So I remember I was club racing with a couple of our mates, and one of them rode my bike and was faster. So we ended up as a dealership being quite involved in racing and track days, and ended up riding the bike. And I suddenly realised I'm still racing, but I'm not riding it anymore. And then we spoke to Paul Smart at some Ducati dinner or something, one of these lovely events that Ducatis do. And he said, Scott's had enough of superbike racing now. He wants to do something a bit more fun. And so I chatted to Scott and rang him up and said, look, we want to do a bit of racing, maybe Superstock. And it all sort of went from there, really. I mean, he set the foundation for the team because he's so technical and such a massive pain that it set us on that sort of technical path, really. So it took me about 10 years to work out that it's not about the bike, it's about the rider, but that's because Scott was telling me the opposite.
It's always difficult to contradict him unless you have many encyclopedias with which to refer to.
Yeah, and several days spare.
Only days? You got it down to days?
But it was good. It started, I mean, I remember the first time we went Superstock racing, and it's pretty hard to know what you don't know. And that's been our sort of motto, really. Our philosophy is it's really easy to think you're doing okay at what you're doing. And you're actually just pretty clueless about all the things that you're not aware of and that you don't know and don't know how to do. You know, we turned up, we built this Superstock bike, which is a 1198 out of the showroom. We put a fork kit in it and an exhaust on it, and that was pretty much it. And when Scott came down to the workshop and he's like, no, you need to do all of this and all of that. And it made us realise that we didn't really know what we're doing, even though we sort of thought we did. I think that's a bit of a curse of racing in general, is that you get to a certain level and work out what you're doing, and think that because you've had a bit of result or it started to go well, that you do actually, you know, everything. And we always felt a little bit like the outsiders, especially on a Ducati and Superstock. It's sort of, you know, and we had with lots of Ducati things being different, 1200cc, only 2 cylinders, all those sort of things. So we sort of kept ourselves to ourselves and slowly built a relationship with Ducati Italy. So all our influence for the team was from Scott and from Ducati course in Italy. We didn't really mix with guys in the paddock too much. So we always felt like we were kind of, you know, real amateurs at the beginning of it, not really knowing what we're doing. As it turns out, everyone else was as well, but we didn't know that. So that's been how it's developed. You know, we've gone from there really. And then it just became a habit. And before I knew it, there was a lot of people relying on us going racing. So a few times I've thought, I don't know why I'm doing this. This is a ridiculous waste of time and money.
Yeah.
There's no way to justify it. But, you know,
but we have this conversation at the end of every season.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Why do we do this?
That's it. I've had enough of this. Total rubbish. I don't know what to do with it. And then, yeah, now we're doing it for the
February
12th year, I think it is. Yeah.
12th year, my word.
I think it might be. Yeah. We've only had, trouble is we've had one good year now, so that's kind of ruined my plans for Scuppering now.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Is last year was your best year by some margin, and now you've got to do it all again, if not better.
Yeah.
Is that daunting, or is it just something that you just fuck it, I'll just take it? It's something you're taking your stride.
No, it's daunting. There's a lot of pressure. You know, Oxford came to us as a sponsor, and then almost sort of instantly we had 18 podiums last year, and that's sort of become the benchmark now. So they've got some expectations, we've got some expectations. The team and the ride, everybody has. You know, they're all kind of. If we don't go out and have regular podium positions next year, it'll be, well, what's gone wrong? But actually, nothing's gone wrong. It's just a really tough class, and we had a really good year last year where everything clicked. It all went well. Also, our competitors had a bit of a tough time last year. You know, the Yamahas were struggling with injuries. You know, I think we had a good year. It all just came together last year. Ducati were very good with the bike. The bike was good out of the box. Took a lot of work, but I think the others are probably catching up a bit now. I know they are catching up a bit now. Got a new Honda to deal with. That's going to be a fast thing. So if we can do the same as we did last year, we're very happy. But nice to win a few more. I've got a bit bored of the seconds. It was strange when Tommy came in really pissed off on round. I can't remember which one it was, and he had 2 second places. He started giving his trophies away to the team. He's like, has anyone not got a trophy yet? You can all have a trophy. I like this, you know. So it's sort of it ratchets it. The benchmark changes all the time, you know. I'm sure if you know Johnny Ray's expecting to win every race like he does every time. So it's just how it is, you know. When you get some good results, you develop more of an appetite for it. It doesn't sort of quench the thirst for it. It just makes you a bit thirstier.
Have you had to learn an awful lot personally in the 12-year journey in terms of laptoppery and data and things, or were you pretty familiar with it already? No,
we had to learn lots of it. Yeah, personally, it's been the technical side of the racing is the bit I like the most. The dealing with the people is the bit I like the least. You know, the politics. Really? Yeah, it's amazing when you think about it, because I'm
astounded by that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I mean, I have fallen out of my laptop before, so I don't think it's people's fault. It might be mine. But it's I think, yeah, the technical side of it, being able to do things that I think maybe other teams or other crew chiefs or other people in the teams haven't thought of or haven't done. You know, this, working, sort of within the rules, trying a bit of innovation is quite a good thing. I like that a lot. we've seen the bike develop a lot. If we looked back at how we worked as a team and how we developed the bike 10 years ago, it's nothing like now. I know technology's moved on a lot, and BSB's got a lot of technology in it, and that's the bit that's been really good fun. I've also really enjoyed training up some other people that have come through the team as well. So we don't typically hire people who are like ready-made engineers. We don't go get a crew chief from one team, an electronics guy from another, and maybe a chassis engineer from another. We sort of just bring them into the team as almost trainees, and then they sort of stay with us until they go on to something bigger and better. But that's been quite good. I've got a couple of people in the team now that are really, really good, and started off with us coming to us saying, "Can I do a bit of work experience, really?" So that's been quite rewarding. I like doing that.
Well, obviously, so you had Gio who went up to Suzuki MotoGP.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, and he's at KTM now, so
right.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah. So
But,
that's good. It's been a bit of a good training program, really, the team as well as anything else.
Training for you as well as everybody else.
Yeah, well, it's quite nice that I don't have to do everything now as well. It's quite a good thing. So,
have you learned that you don't have to do everything?
I slowly learned that
give some stuff to other people.
There's some potential that I might not be the best at it, and nothing's proven yet. But it's
no data to prove that.
No, there's nothing to back. It's just a hunch. Nothing to back that up. I don't believe it.
Does it not take up so much of your time? You're trying to do this and trying to run the shop as well, or have you?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, but I don't really do anything else. I think that's the good bit. I don't play golf or do anything else at the weekends. We go motorcycle racing, and that's a good thing. I like that. That's really cool. Play golf when I'm a bit older, I think. But,
so what do you do in the winter?
Huh?
What do you do in the winter?
Run the motorbike shop. I'll probably get a motorbike shop running. But since we've not been racing this summer, it's helped. We've had to. Some of the guys in the team are now actually coming into the motorbike shop to do some work there. So a couple of Tommy's two mechanics, Baz and Joe, they're full time in the bike shop now, working on customers' bikes. So we've sort of reordered them so they can keep jobs and generate some income and do everything. And Ian's been helping. Ian's normally the team manager, and he's been helping out organise the shop, and I've been out doing all sorts of things, and even delivering bikes and everything. So we sort of, we've reorganised the whole team, absorbed into the bike shop, so everyone can keep having a job. So the bike shop's been doing all right for that, so it's quite good. The last couple of weeks we've been very busy in there.
What do you think this season's going to bring? It's going to be obviously a shortened championship.
Yeah. Well, it will have to be, won't it? Yeah. So I'd expect to see more triple headers, if not them all triple headers, to make up the races.
Yeah.
Which is good, because I think a bit of a controversial view maybe, but I think we get a bit too much track time in Superbike. I think we have 3 45-minute sessions before we even start measuring a lap time. Then we have three short but 3 condensed qualifying sessions, and then a warm up, and then a couple of races. So I'm happy. I like the triple headers. I like turning up, a couple of sessions, go racing. We don't need to be just running around burning fuel and tyres all weekend until anything matters. It's a big operation. It's a big circus, and it's some of the tracks we go to, we can arrive there on a Wednesday, and racing's not till Sunday. So it does seem like it's not so much it's a racing event rather than a race. I'd rather do more racing and have less practice time.
Well, could it condense down into 2 days?
There's been some talk about that with some of the team bosses. I don't think many of them are very keen on it, but I don't know. I don't see why not. It would save a lot of time and money, but it would be condensed then rather than sort of trimmed down. Everything would be squashed in, which would be a bit tricky.
Right. Historically, team managers have used the 3 days as wife escapology.
As what?
Wife escapology.
Oh yeah. No, I don't think we need to worry about that. So yeah, that could be it. But I think there's some scope for a shake-up. I think this, when these things happen, like the the whole lockdown situation, it gives everyone a chance to reevaluate and look at things, and that's good. You know, BSB he's not scared of making changes and doing his own thing. That's for sure. So it's they don't follow the crowd. So it'd be quite good if we can do something a bit different. I'd quite like to see like a super pole sprint sort of race on a Saturday and then two on the Sunday. That'd be my personal thing. I think the shorter races maybe not the 10 lappers they have in World Superbike, but we could have a 25% shorter race on a Saturday afternoon, because that changes things in terms of, it takes out the sort of the question whether you run the hard or the soft tyre. It changes how much fuel you put in the bike, so you can run the bike a bit lighter, so you can change the setup. Just adds a bit more of a technical element, so you don't have 3 races all the same. I think that'd be quite an interesting thing to do. That'd be good.
How much help did you get from Ducati?
Technical help as much as we want, really.
Right.
We don't get any. They don't send us any money. They don't give us any financial help.
No.
And that's something we learned sort of fairly early on, and I haven't really got a problem with it, to be honest. I spoke to the big bosses at Ducati, and they said, we don't pay for our racing, we get a sponsor. Why would you pay for yours? So it was a fairly sensible philosophy. It's hard to argue with, you know. So it's but they do help us a lot. I mean, the access to I don't think there's another manufacturer that gives that sort of access to the World Superbike team and the development for a one bike privateer, what has been a mid-pack runner for 10 years. You know, whatever's on the factory bikes is available to us if we can afford it and make use of it and need it and want it. And I think that's pretty unique. I think that's Ducati's strength. You know, that's why we are a privateer team, and we can run at the front of a championship like BSB. The information is not always volunteered. You have to do a bit of homework for it, but it is there. You know, we're welcome to go down to the factory and talk to them. Tommy's bike last year got built at the factory. We went down there in February and took the mechanics down there, and the factory engineers, who didn't speak any English, which was quite good, with my 2 mechanics, were sort of just literally hands-on building a motorbike at the factory. Big pile of parts rocked up on a pallet, and they went, there's all the bits for your bike. And there was 4 or 5 ramps there, and there was a couple of World Super bikes, our bike, and then I think PBM were there the week before doing the same thing. So there's no kind of, you know, there's no A and B team as far as technical support goes from Ducati, which is good, you know, and it's rare. I think that's pretty rare. I don't think many other teams can do that. So yeah, they help us a lot. They're good. I was talking to them actually this morning. I was talking to, you know, Giovanni Krupi. He's been busy this week, and he just gave me a call and said, I'm going to answer some of your messages and just catching up some technical stuff, some new bits that have come out recently, and you know, they actually have quite an active interest in it, which is really good.
There was some rumour towards the end of last year that you might take on a second rider in the shape of Shane Byrne. Was there ever any truth in that, or was it?
Now, I have been known to start a rumour.
You have been known to start a rumour.
I have been known to start a rumour. I don't tell lies, so I like to exploit that. People know I don't tell lies by starting a few rumours. But we did talk to Shaky. He actually approached us and said, look, you know, if I'm fit and I'm strong, would you be interested in doing something? And I said, yeah, why not? Let's have a chat. We had a good conversation about it, and it came down to his reports from his doctor, really. But yeah, I was getting a bit panicky because I wasn't sure how I was going to fund it or pay for it or do anything. But I thought, you can't get a sponsor when you've got Shaky under Ducati, then what are we doing anyway? So I think that's something that our current sponsors would have helped us with. And yeah, it'd be good. You know, why not? I don't see any. I think would have been a great thing.
You've got you've got Oxford Products as they're kind of your first proper big title sponsor. So that must have been nice to not spend all of your own money all the time.
Yeah, it was. Well, I was still I'd kind of just finished paying off the money I had to borrow from our last title sponsor from them not paying us. So we had Lloyd's British, they managed not to pay us, so I had to fund that hole somehow. But we did, you know, we got around it. But at Oxford, it makes things a lot easier. It means that we can invest in some development, which historically we've had to curb a bit. If new parts come out, we haven't been able to afford them, and you're sort of weighing up whether the cost of the new parts and getting them, testing them is ever going to be worthwhile in terms of results and lap times. And now we're a bit freer to do that. It takes the pressure off a bit. I mean, it's not an open checkbook. They're getting really good value, which is why they love it, and that's how it should be. But yeah, it's not quite enough for us to expand into 2 riders yet. But it's a really good partnership. The guys at Oxford are genuinely proper bike fans. Really love the racing. They bring 10 or 12 people along who are really interested, not just people who are there for a VIP badge and a vol au vent and a prawn sandwich. They're people that are really keen, enthusiastic fans. Yeah, and all the bosses at Oxford are really into it, and they love it. And they've obviously got in exactly the right time, like to the season, exactly the right time to join our team. They got great value out of it. So yeah, it's good. It's really good. And we brought some more sponsors on. It's attracting some more guys now. So I think this year we've actually been talking to people about new sponsorship agreements to start this season, because the season's going to be a lot shorter, a lot more condensed. We've made a lot of savings. There's going to be fewer rounds. The logistics cost a fortune. So we can save a bit of money, then we can offer sponsors a better deal. And that's what gets them in and gets them into the paddock. So it's I don't think it's quite as doom and gloom out there as in sponsor land as it's being made out to be, I think. So.
In the last couple of years, you've done some good work with a couple of nippers. Is that something you're going to carry on doing?
Yeah, definitely. We do the British Talent Cup. We've got 2 guys we're supported in that.
And they are.
So we've Ian's been running all that stuff for me. There's some kids that we started off in this mini moto thing. If I'm honest, I haven't had a great deal to do with it myself. Ian comes through and says, "Look, I know you're busy. You want to do this? Can we do it? We need a bit of this money from this sponsor, a bit of this money from this sponsor." And I sort of okay it, and then look after a bit when they come around the garage and get them enthused about racing and go around with it. So, but it's good. Yeah, it's really good. And we got Thomas Strubwick was the nipper that we helped out originally, and he's now sort of doing pretty well riding in the British GP2 thing. And we still help him out. So he still has access to Cat, does some chassis work for him, and Ash helps with electronic stuff, and there's still some infrastructure that we lend him in that team. So things like wheel racks and tyre warmers and that sort of stuff. Just taking a little bit from, we can go to our sponsors and say, okay, look, we're getting as much as we can from you as a sponsor, but just for a little bit more, you can be on this bike as well. And there's quite a nice feeling about helping out these future riders. So that works quite well. So Thomas has done pretty well with that. There's another couple of kids that are coming through. So yeah, should be good.
Speaking of Thomas,
Britain after all.
Speaking of Thomas's, you have Thomas George Bridewell, the 2nd or 5th or whatever it is.
Something like that, yeah.
Much as I like Tommy, he's kind of been a misunderstood character, I think, in superbikes for a long time. What is it that? Yeah. How do you and him, because you are very different people, and how do you and him kind of fit together?
He's the last person that I ever thought I'd get on with, and we get on very, very well. So we talk every day. We're mates. It's good. I don't really understand it, to be honest. I don't. I don't. I mean, I signed him because we had no other choice really, and I think he had no other choice either. He sort of phoned me up and went, "Wow, fucking hell, well, look, I don't know what to do, but I'll ride that old thing if you want me to." And that was his opening line. So I thought, oh, he sounds keen. I went and met him. And we basically just said, look, I'm not sure. He didn't really want to ride the Ducati. Didn't have a lot of option. And I didn't particularly want Tommy Bridewell. So I thought, I'd heard what a nightmare he is. And but from day one, we just got on. He just works really well. There was a bit of a mutual understanding at the beginning that if either of us said what we wanted to say, it would just all flare up and just crash and burn and be a complete disaster. So there's a lot of tongue biting going on the first couple of rounds, and then we sort of worked each other out, and it works really well now. I think Tommy thrives on a team that genuinely listens to him and is interested in what he's saying, rather than someone that says, he might complain about the bike, and someone will, if he's in a team where they say, "Oh, actually, there's nothing wrong with this bike," then his head falls off. Because he knows there is something wrong with it. So, and we don't work like that. So it works really well. You have to look after him, and also I think accept the whole family. You don't just get Tommy, you get Stacey and his mum and dad, and so a few of the other guys that come with him all the time. And you have to, that comes as a package. You can't, you have to accept that with Tommy. And I think that's been great. They're really good. They're a proper racing family, and it's good. It works really well. I think it works a lot easier having just one rider with Tommy. I think if we had two rider team, it's a divided attention gets a bit difficult. But that's good. Yeah, I'm surprised I like him as well, really, but I do. Yeah.